the social norm. Thank you. You see, my too many reds. We have, I should say, gender response are adequate, and they are about how to make sure what we want by next week, because we have a Mahayan, because the affirmative all over again. So as we have it, the transformative social is the principle, but it can't be for else agrees with that. These departments and agencies, budgeting and transparent social norms. So the social norms, multiple languages, community radio stations, and they can also. And we have the one-stop shops. The group. I had two different people come up. Somebody who's using sign language for those who need sign language. That's included in the revision.
I was thinking of what to do when I stop media. I want to do December 2024 is even a key one. So gender 64. Macro stability and fiscal rigidities. Dr. Leslie Dwight Mensah, he's from the.
Thank you very much, Bernard, and attempts to attain targets for inclusion in to reduce the fiscal deficit. We also had a target to increase by 2027 and to further raise it to the middle income, achieve a deficit target of 3% of GDP by 20 performance of our middle income peers, reduce the burden of debt service performance on the African transformation, in current African average of around 30. In our group census, on all the targets done, either will be taken care of with all of us in the political leadership generation. They do through improved tax collection, if yes, particularly in recent years, that have revelation that the advice that we ought to have a target for wanted here the concern about fiscal council to lamentation also about and the results, the impact sector, including target for reducing corruption that has been going on as part of the compact, the incidence of corruption in our country, more citizens engagement on fiscal, what we mean by fiscal responsibility, and what is finally, including with respect to the compact, or that we can hold all of us.
Thank you so much. I want ISC. I'm not putting you're talking about macho, so it's very complex. So yes, so
development planning, and very interesting area we form so that we can build funding for NDPC, the funding from successive government, and the clarity of roles, especially strengthening NDPC's role, then some bit of internal 79 that establishes the NDPC conducts stakeholder accountability measures. All the recommendations will be achieved. So I'll pick even order the recommend performed by NDPC and Ministry of issues about the issue of funding financed. Programmed hopefully this afternoon to join us. And in fact, in some of from next year, if we can sort these things should actually be on the way. As you were dealing with constitutional and especially about it, even at the community level, for people to be able to at the community level, especially with and then the 5, so that the alignment of the fear is that to fight for independence, perhaps the structure of government of the presidency or the year cycle into a more stable something that even doesn't match the plan go with the government will also be minimized and but those are areas that I think political parties they find it difficult to move away from. This is something that same article 35(7) all in governments. This one we have not the constitution or legal description have started is something that is still in the debate, should be able to address it. 2027, that is 2 years from specific actions that need to be mentioned every 10 years. The 4-year cycles that we already have, some time to be able to review what you have done, what we have been doing, especially years, is something that has been on the table. It's good to indicate details, can look at how to address the time. Thank you very much, Madam.
Members, they came up with 7 recommendations, and this economic group were like 46. They had 12 recommendations, and you had 7 recommendations and some coins. So it's a bit confusing. So I remember everything they said, which is also very important, right? They gave us 6 hardcore, something like social norms, and then one-stop shop for domestic violence. Very clear. So I like everything that's been said. We are seeing a lot of things, which is very nice. But I want to action bill by December 2024. We wanted to push for that clarity. To see that if we don't attach timelines to them, there will be clarity. But please put your hands together for yourselves. You know, constitution review. A lot of the NDPC things depend on constitution. When we tidy up all the recommendations, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the. But luckily, Dr. Asafweje is here. 2 quick comments from the floor. You've been in the where did the castle Kufuor? You sat. I'm sure. Where did you sit? Which of the groups did you sit in? Please bring him a mic. I'm talking. Like for you, how do you feel about? Oh, Nana, you are keeping me hungry.
Why did you
I think about what we are doing.
Where's my phone?
Now,
In the morning, when and I felt that these are here talking about almost all of them today. That's how I titled my notes, sick-minded, and whether it pays to. Money and wealth is all that matters in Ghanaian favor of medium to long-term goals. Have virtually become so much, forget it. You are actually punished. So those words, are you ready to master the current centralized capex to reduce? Multi-party democracy is obviously the leader, is proving to be fiscal behavior of government. Expenditure is getting driven by party. Now, at the bottom of this whole, I can see I'm not an economist, so I take it from the start. Improve agricultural output, and we can. If we can, a lot of the issues that we are focusing on entirely addressed. And then a lot of the issues about, I am not an economist, but I want to plead with the economists that the way this output and income, I have a bit of, so I would plead, and partisan politics for that matter, has
it's not to do another open forum. I just wanted to get a sense. I won't do that again. But another, this is good. Breakout sessions, right? Climate adaptability breakout, and then we have so we are very deliberate about what we are doing. Saying it will be very easy to relate or to meet the people. So tell your friends to come. You can't tell me what are you going to learn in that lecture. You can read it in the stuff of finance. If I were a student, I could spend. Knowledge is not what you read in a classroom. Done so powerful. Also become compulsory, and they have to speak because, and that's why we are here. How many students are? That's how you bring the change. Because if the rest of the students can't change the country, look, there's something going on here. Tomorrow, if you change all the youth issues and the macroeconomy is my health, am I making sense? So, Dr. Asafweje to talk about constitution review, then John Asafweje, thank you.
Cannot be with us. But I'm stepping in as this constitutional review. You probably know that. So we've been working very hard, both the minority side and majority side. I'll just focus on the key recommendations NDPC. So this has been coming up. Should be independent, be an autonomous body, and it's too large. So the constitution should be amended. Who must former finance minister on the committee from the Association of University Vice to have at least 10% of the vote. A representative of the Association of a representative of the TUC from Ghana Farmers Association into 2C. We will have 2 representatives from a representative from the coalition of CSOs. The president nominates about 20 people. So we are 26, 27. The current number is on the functions of the NDPC. So as approved by Parliament with 2/3 majority votes to Parliament. And then we'll open the floor. Payment of Article 71 office holders. He will appoint a committee to appointed to determine the article, the payment as a formula, and use that to determine. So this will be as well as the presidency. Currently, the Constitution requires the president to appoint the majority to do that. But MPs who are appointed should, and in fact, some of the MPs present agreed with us because sometimes the ministers cannot be found in parliament when even bills that should vacate their seats. We also recommended a cap. Both President Mahama and Vice President Bawumia, 25 ministers of state. We are recommending it might be radical, but those are our recommendations. We also went appointed by an election, because we didn't say by a public election, where that a DC can be sacked will be by a majority of the district assembly. 7. And I think with the confidence by the district assembly, and we are recommending that present and obtain a certificate of that you have 10 houses, 5 cars. I think that this declaration should be recommendations, but I think I'll just, So I'll just stop there, and there's going to be consultations around the timetable will be announced from the floor.
Put your hands together for him. Wow. All right. One woman, one question. One man, one comment.
Constitutional amendment. I want to ask, they didn't touch the ex gratia. So we are suggesting that any MP or minister who loses election should be the one to take it as a big toll on our economy. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me clarify. We are taking these as suggestions to put in what we are doing. So we are not answering questions. We are taking what you want. Mommy, make sure somebody's writing this down.
Representing Association of Small Scale Industries said, as a matter of fact, we don't condemn for Article 71 holders of the government, neither the budget of Ghana, and just directly. But I want you to know we are peeved of it and we are fed up. It shouldn't be like they are to think of it.
Anybody more on Article 71? So we are sort of clear. Anything more on 71? Okay, that's done. Next one. Go to your.
My name is Courage Dezanga. I want to touch on that ministry. And also, I'm also of the view that ministers should pay responsible for those expenditures for government appointees.
Please mention your name.
My name is Courage Dezanga.
From where? Which institution?
From Volta Institute of Development Studies.
So let's be clear. At
Yeah, Bernard.
where are you? Please rise here.
So, and so he actually told me, and it's true, asset declaration issue 5. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Give the chance to women. Okay, let's give it to the men. Otherwise, we'll finish and then they will now say.
With the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Good. The fact being that if a person may not include in the officers may want to hide. So the 26 list you had, I feel you could increase that number.
Who's the next?
Bernard.
I want a woman.
My name is Mercy Ajoaboni. I represent aspects of reducing the weight of the budget. I also want to say that a national development agenda also insists, as we have other countries, but everybody trying to do it is financial loss to the
state. I also work with the training. It's a very bad law. It must go. You know why? As we say in the Ghanaian.
My name is Dr. Ramzi Nusa, and I'm also from the Movement for Change. To date, we've realized the way of our partisan politics or multi-party mandate to appoint certain these heads of independent. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, this is an NDC at the Parliament."
Thank you.
So these are some of the recommendations that we want to see.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Patricia, CSOs have been buzzed into coalition of CS.
Committee, the NDPC.
The constitutional review, the composition, CSOs have been boxed into coalition agenda groups. Thank you.
Okay, let's a lot of work has been done on the constitution review. Made a comment about the area that you have as we have, but we also have a time constraint. So let's be end today. So let's relax. I know everybody.
I think I am being utilized in the constitutional review. It took us. There was a white paper the various amendments. We're going to use state funds one more time. Again, let us all be very careful. Naked poverty. Most of us here will never ever know. All right.
Just let's hold the time well. So are we on course, guys? There's already a process in motion on constitution review. That doesn't mean you don't want to hear roadmap again.
All right. Thank you.
So let's be on now. So you start, sir.
All right. This is Francis as we practice as a country. The presidential, the executive. That is to say, or select members of parliament. Once the president is a member of parliament, he continues by elections. Once you appoint, I think that should be avoided at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So on the issue of like I said, it was very important. It is very necessary. It is for the top person of I think that the argument has been whether waiting for them die. And the more entrenched this dual policy, NDC, NPP, as if no other party.
I say that.
You have
We haven't done it
to that, and
today
you've
yet.
introduced me.
Bridges, don't do that.
Yes, you spoke two big parties because we know. I wish that the other CSOs were. We would start with Cs and MMDCs to start with. Yes, maybe.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I'm very glad to pour my mind in front of the house. It is popularly said, when two elephants first in the parliament, ministers and needy. But when the professor was talking, I did not hear to people that are poor, in fact, and needy at the same time, their own nephews, to their own siblings. Why? Because if you don't trade, strike. Yet I've not heard any plea that if indeed we are going to review out of our issues without necessarily
Some quick reflection from Prof.
Committee. The school, NCCE, Ghana Bar Association, Ministry of Justice and Attorney General. We were not supposed to reinvent the wheel. The 2011 review documents from research other organizations that have done work on the Constitution. We also received the 2011 Constitutional Review. Things have changed, so we needed to look at what has happened. Recommendations, right? It's not finalized. What we're going to do is go to say about it. Then at that will have a final and given that of what's happening, because I can see that just the views of a few committee members.
And that there was a major constitution review because I've seen 1,000-page document produced by that committee, which
yes. So we reviewed all work that has been done.
Next question. Appears a lot of people here have either not been in all these rich ideas, interested in recommending constitutional change, updating these, and
we had a few programs with Joy FM, TV, radio, on social media. So all this depends on funding. So that and to canvas as many views as possible.
If I look at a number of people here who want to contribute on constitution review, whilst we wait for money from funds, we have people here who want to. We're going to create one room tomorrow's program together. So I'm hoping that somebody, where is he? I hope so. So can I see by show of hand if we created a bit that we've agreed to do that? The feeling room. So just to be clear, tomorrow we have to select all the suggestions we put together and grouped so that we know that we have a constitutional review that came out of today's convention, making a decision on your behalf. So I think this is beautiful. I'm so excited. I've never seen the level of fire. Contrast that to when I started and KY was talking about how put your hands together for yourself. Put your hands together for yourselves. You've not given up. Yeah. Corruption came up. Corruption is big. Democracy, none of it told text. So I think the constitution Yawa comes tomorrow. Chance's sake. Yawa, could you have a all right?
To talk specifically about because we lumped together. So if we had more rapporteurs, is really to validate what we create space to hear from you as much as possible. And if possible, I'll powwow with them as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Yawa. So day 2, and civic education. We're going to group and then the students' generation, panel discussion, private sector, healthcare, climate change, government. Always remember IAT, issues, action targets for the numbered timeline specific after the panel discussion into the 5 breakout rooms. Then that gives us 9, because we did 4 today, we're doing 5 today. That gives us 9 broad areas with a lot of work being done. Okay. So when we finish with that, then we're going to have specific presentations, as I said, and then we'll have the rapporteur come in with your colleagues. This is actually about you. Bring more of your colleagues, come in early. The lectures, Prof, please declare tomorrow no lecture in the department. Okay. Level 100 to 400, they must all come. This is transformational. This is transformative. To close, oh, you're fine. Said, you're okay. Said wants to say something. Okay. Please give the mic, because from your recommendation, he would have been on the NDPC, former finance minister. He would have been there. So let's, if Hackman will say something, we'll take it. If he doesn't as well, we're fine. Then we will close. Where's the mic? Or does he need to pay a tax? Said Emmanuel Tekwe, former minister of finance. Let me just.
No, it's just a short one. It will be just a short one, please. Yeah, I wanted to make a comment on NDPC and the Ministry of Finance, particularly financial planning, which used to be Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. The planning was actually ceded to NDPC, and that's how come we now have just. But I think if we look at them in terms of institutions, 2 institutions, you see much more difference than if you looked at them even under the constitution, what has been going on in functional terms. The constitution also mentions preparation of budget and economic policies, either according to program or according to activity. That is moving towards functions. The Ministry of Finance has since moved to program-based budgeting. And under program-based budgeting, the antecedent is strategic planning, which is linked to the national planning. And in fact, the coding structure now virtually merges the two, such that NDPC and Ministry of Finance away from planning into the strategic planning. In other words, strategic planning for the ministries must derive from the national 3-year plan, which is also the topic of SONA, by the president. So it doesn't depart much the themes. Now, when you move slightly down, you see under program-based budgeting that we have the strategic plans informing the spending officers. So there's more integration taking place, than what we normally see in institutional terms as, 2 separate, institutions with mandates which sometimes are not, brought together cohesively. So these are points I.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any comments, KY? Anything to close us? Please give the mic to Hackman Oswajiman for some closing thoughts.
Thank you very much, sir. Respectfully, I am convinced that the compact has these thematic issues which are actionable. I suppose we don't have much time in the immediate future. I don't want the discussion on constitutional change and what have you and the rest. He was saying there's a 1,000-page document and nothing much has come on from it. A whole lot of things will happen, but I believe that what we want to do, we want to raise. So I want to respectfully say, for me, for example, if you ask me, I want more ministers to come from parliament, and I have my own reasons. In UK, our issues may take so much problem, and also when you talk about the entrenched clauses, the 75% of the people you require to vote, and those are that, it's too complicated to, so to speak, from it. So I just want to, don't let's spend too much time on it. Financial committee, where I think that can be done. Or constitutional requirements, but make sure that we ask the governments that come in power to be able to look at it. Gender issue, the youth issues, and all the others. And that's what I wanted to suggest.
Thank you, sir.
I don't want the
All right.
thing to take it.
Thank you so
very
much.
sir.
So, KY, you have the last word.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to clarify on the Constitution how we got to where we are. All those. We also had a Constitution as one area to look at under the compact. And we had CDD and IDEC as our partners, as much as we had IFS and ISA on fiscal. And at the same time, there were, the reason with the Constitution is that over the years, every year, people make speeches, they talk, IEA is doing something, we've had the Constitutional Review Report. That's why, so even one day we brought President Kufuor and others together under the compact to talk about the Constitution issues. That's when we realized it's too much. So that was why, and because then Honorable State Chairman was very passionate and doing a lot of, so we parked that and said, let this take a different track. And whatever comes out of it, we will pick some of those. For the NDPC, in particular, we keep referring to that, and this constitutional reform. So that's where we are in terms of the process. Originally, I referred to as too much recognizing. So
Wonderful.
that's where we
Thank you.
where we are.
All right. So this is quite interesting. So I still feel like because the appetite is there, let's do the constitution tomorrow, and we can have the 4+ constitution review. As many of you as want to be there, say what you want to say. Then at least we know that during the citizens convention, these realizations were made on constitution review. What we decide to do with it, whether it's long term or short term, is because we want you to talk. And we want the thing to be bottom up. So it's what you want that we do. Otherwise, there's no legitimacy. So we thank everybody for coming. We promised to close at 5, but we are closing at 4:30. So we are so grateful for his exceptional leadership. So thank you. We will see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Shamima will be your moderator for tomorrow. Please make it happen for her. Put your hands together for Professor Asafwe J for his fantastic presentation. Maximus, please put up the videos that we haven't shown, and then we'll see you tomorrow as well. So have a great
citizens' engagement in Eastern region, and we are dealing with the private sector first. We have a number of 40 participants benefiting from this engagement and compacts. Innovation fabrics and how it to meet increasing the innovation skills. Products be asking from the private sector participants ways that will help the development of nations.